Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Shelley. I'm the Director of Academic Enrollment, and I'm joined today to discuss about test prep with Henry Round and Klaus Eichland. So Henry, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Henry. I am a Flex instructor. I specialize in the verbal portions of the ACT and SAT.
I'm Klaus. I'm also a longtime instructor here at Flex, specializing in math and science exams.
Great. So, working with families, and I know, a lot of questions come up. And so because both of you are long-term experts in teaching both the SAT and the ACT, I wanted to find out what is the best way for a student to prepare, and when would you suggest that they start preparing for the SAT and ACT?
Yeah, it's a great question when we get a lot. So I would say a great first step to take is to just come in and take a diagnostic exam for both the SAT and the ACT. So a lot of students will just automatically take and prepare for the exam that they're familiar with. But these exams are quite different, both in the content that they test and the style of the questions. And many students find that they're better suited to one exam or the other. So that would be a great first step to take. As for when to do that, I would say for most students around sophomore year, maybe at the beginning of sophomore year is a great time to take that diagnostic exam. That'll also let you know where you are in regards to your target score and give you plenty of time to prepare and improve that score if needed. So, then the next steps would be to take a class where you can cover the exam topics in a more structured fashion. And then, still give yourself some time. You might take 2 rounds. So a lot of students don't necessarily achieve their target score until their second time testing. So that's something that you want to leave yourself some room for.
Maybe just to add to that, the SAT, for one, claims that it's actually testing things that you've learned in high school. So it's important to start, I say, early so you have enough time to reach your target score and to prepare accordingly, but not too early to the point where you haven't had a lot of high school yet. And just as an example, on the SAT, there are these primary document passages, and I found that students who have gone through high school level history courses are at a tremendous advantage when it comes to being able to at least understand what the context of some of these arguments are. And while you're not being tested directly on, let's say, historical facts, having that background is very, very helpful for students to reach their target scores.
Great. And another question that I get a lot is, Shelley, there's so many resources out there. Some of them are even free. There's books, there's online resources. Is that just enough for my child to, study and prepare? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I would say that those resources, books and online, readily accessible, they're useful, but only up to a point. And I think I've found that students that have worked with those resources tend not to have a very specific sense for what these exams, the ACT, the SAT, what they are specifically testing. And they may have a general idea of the content area, but when it comes to the specific way in which these exams are designed, and not only designed according to different passages, but also how they're designed to trick you. You have to be very clear on what the tendencies of those exams are. And it gives you at least a way to fall back. Instead of guessing, you can have some tendency in your mind for, okay, well, this is how the SAT works. This is how the ACT works. This would make a more common answer. And that's actually really specific to the exams, as opposed to being something that you can find in a lot of the test material that's out there. So our instructors have a lot of training and have experience taking these exams. I mean, at this level, me and Klaus have most of them memorized. And having that background gives the student a better way to understand how this exam is trying to trick me, how it's being designed, as opposed to just, here's a passage to read and answer some questions about.
That's right. And I think kind of Henry and I and our instructors here at Flex, we do take these exams continually. And the SAT in particular has changed a lot since its inception or redesign in 2016. And so to add on to Henry's point, both in verbal as well as in math, I'm going to test that there's definitely very strategic ways that you can approach the math section if you know specifically what concepts are being tested and how they're being tested. The SAT in particular is an exam that this sort of strategic approach can serve you very well. And if you're working on your own, it just takes a lot longer to get there if you even get there. So yeah, I think it's definitely can save you some time and effort to get some instruction along the way.
Yeah, great. And I think our families will definitely benefit from the diagnostics, your expertise, and all of our instructors, as well as the classes and tutoring options. Thank you. Thank you for joining us on today's webinar. We hope it was informative for you. Please do stay in touch with any additional questions. We're happy to set up a call or a meeting with you to answer your specific needs. You can reach out to us at academics@flexcollegeprep.com. Thank you once again.